Good morning and welcome to another broadcast of the Competitive Edge. Today we're going to be having a pretty interesting conversation. Today we will be looking at 4 steps to attract money in business. Now, every business wants to cash flow optimize, but do you truly understand the smartest way to cash flow your business? Today, we will be examining a number of essential steps that you can take to position your business for greatness. But just before we get started, I want to leave a few nuggets with you rising stars in business. There are 4 important concepts that you need to consider when you get it into business. And the first one is that you want to ask yourself 4 important questions. One is, do you have value that people value? Because when you have value that people value, they are most likely to invest in your value offer when you know what you're doing. The second question you want to ask yourself, am I value that people value? And you being value that people value, it means that you have a specific talent, a specific skill that is easily marketable. That too will set the stage up for you to be able to cash flow monetize or optimize. The third step for you to consider, do you have the ability to market your brand? It is the ability to market your brand that will play a very pivotal role in positioning you to build visibility, reach an impact, and by extension, set the stage to cash flow optimize. The fourth step is that you must understand your TOPAC. By TOPAC, I mean your targeted performance outcome. So once time permits, as we go into today's program, my role is to just examine these 4 steps, but I'm not alone. I have a team of dynamic personalities, and they too will also bring their strategies and their systems that they are using to cash flow their operations. So you have a lot of dynamic personalities to learn from today. So I'm going to start to bring up my guests today. No, not my guests, my team players. I have Paul Whitehouse, and Paul Whitehouse, he represents Patriot Business and Finance. I have Clement Frank. Clement Frank is an economist and expert in leadership. And I have Shivani, and Shivani is a project management practitioner. Great to have all of you guys here today. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. How's everybody doing? What's up, Frank?
Awesome.
We're all fine.
Yeah.
Now I'm jealous.
It's going good for me. Coffee. I have a good drink in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
This is a good bit to start your days with some
Mhm.
coffee in your hand, right? And
That's right.
Shivani is definitely demonstrating that's the best way to start your day. All right. Today promises to be a very exciting day. We're going to be looking at, smart ways to optimize your business cash flow. So to put things in some perspective, and just before I do so, I want to ask my team to do a soft introduction. Paul, can you tell us about uh, your financial portfolios? And can you also briefly tell us about the BFC just before we get into today's program? All to you, Paul.
Thank you. Uh, Financial programs that Patriot has available alongside the High Net Worth Investors Guide would be equipment financing, real estate financing, cash flow programs like factoring. Your invoices are one of your greatest assets for your business, and you can sell them for 97, 98 cents on the dollar and raise cash flow if cash flow is slow. And raising capital. We are basically scouts for 2 investment bankers. We know their program, how they do it, what they look for, what they want to work with, and we can help you raise money for your startups or capitalize your existing businesses. That's a short story of what we do. And the Business Finance Consultants program, it would be, we want to work with 100 people, teach them how to be business finance consultants, how to be experts in these programs that we offer so that you can explain them to clients and the clients, and so basically solve the client's needs. So full training, full support, no experience. The only qualifications we want are your desire to win, learn, and really put this into effect and not give up. Hourly is easier, maybe not easy. Well, I take that back. Hourly is not easy because you don't make enough. So that's not easy. But it's what we do here. If you don't give up on this, it'll be very rewarding. It's a high paying career. I mean, there's no way that you can make 2, 3, 4, 5,000 or more per deal by working hourly. And imagine how many times you can, if your average is 3 to 4,000, how many times can you do that per year? Crank it up, do as many times as you can, crank it up and stack it up for your future, for your family, and to help people out. That's it.
All right, thanks for that share. Thanks for that share. Paul. Paul must do something for me because I'm getting an echo when you speak. Just try to exit the room and come right back in.
Got it.
All right, I'm going to come now to Frank. And Frank, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Hi, good morning to all those who are listening. My name is Claremont Frank. I'm from Guyana. And as an economist, I have had the privilege of lecturing and also more or less into John Maxwell Leadership Program. And one of the things that I want to say, for example, those who are budding leaders who are leaders, having a value as a leader is important. Yes, I know everyone has value, but as a leader, your values should be more of empowerment and development, vision, communication, reinforcement, influence, among others. And my duty here is to rein you in, teach you how to be the best leader. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. Giovanni,
Thanks, Gary.
Giovanni Simarine, on to you. You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much. Always a pleasure to be here. And many persons would have challenges in whatever they're doing in organizations, in business, in your personal life. You have different challenges. And I always believe that if you implement or you learn project management strategies, different project management strategies, because there are so many, it can solve many of the challenges that you have. You have many tools that you can do, that you can use, project management tools, and challenges will be solved. So, project management really helps you to become more solution oriented. And that's why I believe that project management theories can solve everything. Shivani Sino, all the best. Looking forward to the convo as usual.
All right, thanks for that share, Shivani. All right, to get to this program conversation started, what I'm about to say may sound a bit capital intensive, and perhaps it is. But one of the things that we always say is that if you're getting into business, it's important to recognize that you're getting into a project, you're getting into business, and it is capital intensive. You need human resource to move your vision forward. You need technical resources to move your vision forward. You need capital resources to move your vision forward. So, indeed, what I'm about to say may sound capital intensive. Your role as an entrepreneur is to quickly figure out practical steps that you can take to rise above the capital challenges. Now, while it is a challenge, we have experts here in our team that will help you navigate the financial challenges. So, with that being said, I want to start by developing on some of the points I would have made at the beginning of this program. I started off by saying that if you're in business and you want to cash flow optimize, the first thing that you want to focus on is to ensure that you have value that people value. Now, if you don't have value that people value, and people don't have the incentive and the motive to want to invest with you. But let's try to put a face to what having value really means. It means that you perhaps have real estate um, properties, all right, to rent. And let me go in a little deeper into real estate. One of the things that we have seen, and what I'm attempting to do here is link real estate to the business reality. We've seen that 20.8% of business startup fail in the first year. We're seeing that by the second year, we have 40% that are failing. And by the third year, we have 49.9% of businesses that are failing. Now, those businesses are failing because many of them don't have the kind of physical aesthetics and ambience to appeal to their target market. One of the things that we looked at is how an executive office suite can help those businesses to better position their brand. We see 4.4 million businesses get started every year in the US. And many of those businesses don't have a unique shop front to put forward their value offer. So, in context here, any investor, anyone who is thinking about setting up an office, executive office suite, they will be able to provide value that people value, and is definitely one of the smart ways in which you can cash flow optimize. Again, you might be thinking that to start to think of investing in real estate, it's very expensive. But what the fact is showing is that, again, it is capital intensive, but you have to be a big thinker or learn how to be a big thinker in business. And that's some of the reasons why we are hosting this program, because we want to give you the mentorship, the coaching, and the support to position you to be a big thinker. All right, find solution, be a big thinker. But guess what else? We're not saying just be a big thinker. On this platform, we have Paul, and Paul is a financial expert. So once you reach the pre-qualification to access capital, Paul is that person that will say, okay, you need capital for real estate investment, and we can get you the money. The money is to invest in your real estate. So having value means that you have one of these assets, and real estate is a prime example of showing that. But I want to give one more example and see how quick I can wrap up this introduction, just to ensure that a clear picture is painted to these four steps. The first concept that we look at is having value that people value. The second concept that I want us to look at is being value that people value. For example, you may be a subject matter expert in finance. So you understand financial portfolios, you understand how to access, how to leverage, and how to mitigate. Again, we are seeing millions of businesses across the world, they struggle to access capital. They struggle to access capital. But with you being an expert in this field, you're well placed to position yourself to cash flow optimize your business. It may make a lot of sense to start a business along this line. Now, let me shift it now to project management. Research again is showing that we have so many great leaders, so many great businesses in the world today, but many of those office businesses don't have a project management office. You don't have a project management office. Now, by adopting a project management office, you're not only creating the opportunity to refine your management processes, but as Shivani would always say, project management is a tool that can really help you to enhance your systems and enhance your outcome. So I believe that any young person who wants to get into to project management has a tremendous bright future ahead. But the third step that I'm about to talk about here is very, very important. It's not enough to have value that people value. It's not enough to be value that people value. It's equally important to have the ability to position your brand or your value offer in the market. Your inability to market your brand, it can significantly undermine your chances of success. In conclusion, your success in business is not based on having a strong value offer. It's not simply based on knowing your market size and knowing that there's demand for your products and services. You must also have the ability to communicate your value offer to the ideal client in a way that wants them to buy in to your value offer. So I know my introduction has been a little long, but I did this so as to lay a foundation um, in terms of how we can proceed with today's topic. What I want to do again, I want to come right back to Paul because Paul, I want you to see this. A young person wants to invest in real estate. They want to set up an executive office suite because they want to fix a problem that hundreds of thousands of business startups are faced with. They don't have a storefront, and they want to set up an executive office suite to provide that opportunity for young people. Can you walk us through what that process looks like in terms of accessing capital for real estate investment?
Yes, definitely. Okay. Well, you said capital intensive. Anytime you buy real estate, it's capital intensive.
Intensive, yeah.
Even if you're buying your personal owner occupied residence, I mean, you got to put, I think FHA, you can, and VA, you can put low down 3%, even 0% with VA, I think. I mean, I've never done a VA loan, but I think I've heard that. 3% is capital intensive sometimes. You know, where I live at, you can buy a nice $200,000 home. So you got 6,000 down. But if you're buying $1 million house, then you got 60,000 down. That's capital intensive. And that's only 3%. Let's talk about commercial or investment. Well, we're talking about commercial here because you're talking about office space. So 740 and above score, you're 20% down. So I think it's 700 to 740, that range. It's actually behind me on one of these sheets. I didn't put that sheet up here for that purpose, but uh, you're like 30% down. And then below that credit score, all the way down to the very difficult credit score, 35% cash down. So that is capital intensive. Absolutely. Are there benefits to it anyways? Well, yeah, you're not spending the money. You're just taking it from here and putting it there because you have access to that because it's equity sitting there. As long as you bought it the right way, didn't overpay for it. So when you're buying real estate, you're really not paying, you're just placing. Your down payment goes from here, your bank account, to here, sitting on the grass, in the building, and you do have access to it. So do you need a great credit score? Well, no, and yes. You need a great score if you want to get the lowest cost of money and not pay as much and not have to refinance it 2 or 3 years later down the road when your score improves because you made payments on time. But if you got difficult credit, you can still walk into it. It's just going to be more expensive. Are there benefits to owning real estate for your business? 1000% yes. You would rather own it than not own it. You don't want to lease it. Well, let me walk that back. You do want to lease it, maybe, because if you're starting a certain type of business, maybe lease it for a year to get that business going, to get the business cash flowing. You might need that chunk of money. Instead of putting it down, you might need that as operating capital to get the business going. So that there's so many factors and so many what ifs, but in the end result, owning real estate for your business is something that you want to do. Absolutely. It's an asset that grows because pay the principal down, appreciation happens. 20 years later, it's worth 3 or 4 times what you bought it for.
All
Hope
right,
I
thanks for that.
hope I answered the
Yeah,
question on that one.
yeah. The process you have walked us through some of the process in terms of acquiring that property. Of course, you look at the financial aspect. The real estate aspect is that you may also have to look at the, inspection cost, appraisal cost, attorney fees, and so forth. But you have done an excellent job in terms of helping us to understand the financial aspect of things. The beauty about what Paul has also said is that from the time you start thinking real estate, what Paul is saying is that you also have an expert here with you that can help you access real estate for your business and to access real estate for business. All right, you don't have to worry about the capital because we can get you that. Along with that, we are going to get you additional support because you would have heard me talk a lot about it's not enough to just understand financial instruments. It's equally important to understand smart ways to access, smart ways to leverage, and smart ways to mitigate debt. So Paul talked about a number of things as now, and the money you're putting down, if you again know how to purchase and you're buying with equity, you can take that money out right away because you have equity leverage. But we're not going to get into a real estate conversation today at Capital Leverage. Let me go over to my other panelists here. Shivani, we are going to go now to being value that people value. You have been in project management for quite a number of years. I do believe that project management is fundamental to the, systemization of every business. But what would you say to a young project management consultant who wants the cash flow? How much is branding to the cash flow process? How much is marketing to the cash flow process? Because we see many persons can start, but not necessarily succeed. I want to draw from your experience as to what it takes to be value that people value and make it work for you.
Now, project management, as we said, Gary, could assist in almost every area. Not almost, in every area. It helps you to become more solution oriented. You ask the question, and how can you show value? Can project management really show value? What is value? What is value? Value will be seen as everybody will have their own values. What are the benefits of, like what Paul was actually talking about in terms of real estate? Why are you going into real estate? How are you going to cash flow this particular business? So project management definitely I've seen over the years can totally assist this process. And question is how? You're a young consultant, as you said, you're project management, you're looking to get into the PM field. How can it really bring better value? How can you position your skills and people? So project management, it's based on different principles, it's based on different processes. One of the key principles of project management will involve understanding of people, because people will make or break your project. When we talk about people, I'll always say, do you have the particular resources to do this job? So, very interested that you asked me this conversation today, because yesterday I was in a meeting and it was all about capital as well, a capital intensive conversation. And just by the way, I sometimes you have to be in the right places, as we say, right? People skills, as you say, right? So you always fall in the right conversation, right? And this individual, he was telling me about he got a project manager, and the project manager is very good, good people, well, not people skills, but really stakeholders. They know all the stakeholders in order to do the job. However, there's still an aspect that is lacking, which is not having the proper documentation and not understanding all the documentation that goes in running a project. And not only running the project, you also said it in terms of scaling up. So you have money to probably start something. Now, this is in an organization. This was not a small business, right? It was a very, very large conglomerate, if you want to say it like that. And the person, you could probably look at it from that point as well. You have the money to start, but how do you scale up? So project management, yes, you must understand the stakeholders, which was a key thing there. This individual, this PM, really good at the stakeholder management. But what was lacking was understanding all the documentation that is necessary to run this project. Now you have AI and technology that will guide you to know, okay, you could do different problems, chat GPT and all of those things. So technology as well can assist this process, right? But those will be conversations, as you said, for AI and stuff as we go down the road in terms of how it can really assist in projects that we do. So in my experience, to really understand how to scale up and get more capital and attract more money and cash flow your business, project management can help. But when we look at project management, you may think about stakeholder management alone and understanding people. You have to look at your strengths and your weaknesses and how to grow that. So you may be very good at stakeholder management, but understanding all the processes as well is very important. It starts with knowing a very good business case, your benefits management plan, and how do you realize it to actual closing off the project. And what I've also seen, you look at projects in silos, as I keep saying from day one in this platform here. You look at closing it out, but you don't think about continuity as well, versus sustainability. And this is what is lacking a lot. So you look at, I have all the documents, I talk to the right people, bam, project closed. What about sustaining, which is cash flowing for the next big project, then the next real estate project, or whatever type of project that you have. So that's a couple more points so far, Gary.
All right, thanks for that share, Shivani. And you see, what I love about project management is that you can start a small project and you can start a big project. But what project management in of itself can do, it can help you to raise capital through a project. Now, let's take, for example, just adding to what Shivani would have said, you want to raise $500,000, and perhaps you don't want to go debt. Project management has the essential tool that can raise that capital. For example, you might want to say, okay, you want to target a specific demographic, might be the high income bracket, and you want to bring 5,000 persons to a venue. And let us say you charge them $100 per person. Guess what? You've used project management to generate smart capital, because 5,000 multiplied by the 100, you get $500,000 there already for the project. And even that is a project. All right. So Shivani is right. As you understand project management, it can be weaponized, or utilized to help that business raise that capital. Frank, I want to come to you now. You are an economist. You are also an expert in leadership. But from your experience, leadership is vital for the success of every business. But many business leaders or many rising stars in business do not apply leadership the way it ought to be applied. What are some of those factors that you believe are preventing them from applying leadership in branding, leadership in marketing, leadership in connecting with financial institution, leadership in connecting with project management consultants that can help them navigate some of the rough terrains of doing business? To you, Frank.
Yeah. One of the things that we have to look at is leadership leading with assets. And we look at it as asset-based leadership. You may ask, what is asset-based leadership? It's a relatively new concept, and it has been gaining popularity in recent years. The asset-based leadership is a unique approach to leadership that focuses on identifying and leveraging the strengths and assets of individuals and the teams rather than focusing on weaknesses and limitations. This approach is based on the idea that everyone has something valuable to contribute. And that by tapping into these strengths, a leader can create more effective and productive teams. So, asset based leadership is basically a leadership approach that focuses on identifying and leveraging the strengths and assets of individual and teams. I said that it is different from other leadership approach, and it's in several ways. For example, it differs from deficit-based leadership, which focuses on identifying weaknesses and limitations and then trying to overcome them. Asset-based leadership focuses on identifying strengths, assets, and using them to create positive changes. It also differs from transactional leadership, which is based on systems of rewards and punishment. It is about creating a positive work environment and empowering individuals and team to do their best. But why is it important? It's important because it helps to create a positive work environment where individuals and teams can thrive. It builds stronger relationship between leaders and team members, as well as between teams themselves. I know personally that when leaders focus on strengths and assets of individuals and teams, they are more likely to create an environment where everyone feels valued and appreciated. Of course, it can lead to increased job satisfaction, it can lead to better performance, higher levels of engagement. For example, a leader might identify the strengths of individual team members and assign tasks based on those strengths. They might also create the opportunities for team members to share their strengths with each other and collaborate on projects. Another example might be a leader who focuses on creating a positive work environment by recognizing and celebrating the achievements of team members. And this can help to build a sense of community and foster a culture of positivity and support. There are many benefits of asset-based leadership. For example, it can lead to better performance and productivity. It can help to build stronger relationships, and it can eventually lead to more positive work environments. It's a unique approach to leadership that focuses again on identifying and leveraging strengths and asset individual teams. Difference from leadership approach in that it is more about building on what is already there and creating a positive environment. So by focusing on the strengths and assets of individual and teams, the asset-based leader can create more effective and productive team, a stronger relationship, foster a sense of community within the team. And as I get into a little bit more, I'll bring up some of the benefits of asset-based leadership.
All right. All right. Thanks for that share, Paul. As you talk about asset-based leadership, I'm happy to hear that they are bringing more scope to leadership. And what it reminds me of is project management to some extent, because one of the things that we talk about in project management a lot is that it's easy to find human resources, but to find the right human resources could be a very challenge. So when you talk about asset-based leadership, I think that asset-based leadership falls directly into the qualified human resources to function in any project management process. What I've also taken away from what you would have said is that asset-based leadership is more focused on leveraging the knowledge and skill sets within or out of the organization, and spend less time on developing the human resources because you're attracting those that have that knowledge base already. I think is a clever way because give you an opportunity to fast track the business process, fast track outcome because you don't have to go through the, train people, have them go through that learning curve and then apply your techniques. So I'm happy to hear that those changes are taking place within project management. I want to come back to Paul. And Paul, I want to shift the conversation a little over to the importance of marketing because one of the things that I see is that very often, you know, we see young people get into business and you have a strong value proposition. And kudos for having that strong value proposition, but then you don't know how to position that value proposition in the market. And we know it's a lot of heavy lifting to market your brand. And myself and Paul, we can talk about international platforms that you're going to use to do marketing. We're going to talk about Clubhouse. We're going to talk about Wisdom. We're going to talk about, you know, uh, YouTube and mass media that you're now using to get visibility. It's not an easy task. So you either have to do these marketing by yourself or you have to be somewhat deep pocket to appoint not just the human resources, but the right human resources, the asset base humans to help you execute in public relation. But just before we come to that, I'm just saying this to lay the foundation to where I want us to go. Just before we get to that, Paul, can you walk us through financial instruments? Today we're talking a lot about, money and businesses need access to capital. So can you help us to understand some of the financial instruments that you have available and how we can help businesses that need capital to do so? All to you, Paul.
Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, if the question is how do we get capital for advertising and brand awareness and market?
No, I know you don't have that as yet. So
Okay.
we're looking at divorce from marketing and advertising. I want to generally look at the financial portfolios that we have available for
Mhm.
them.
Okay.
Perhaps I can talk to them about advertising budget capital, how they can raise that.
Okay. Um, well, actually, there we do have a method to do it, and it's not a program specifically for marketing and advertising, but it's called getting creative. And I have this a lot. Lots of people say, "Hey, I need money for brand awareness, budget, marketing and advertising." Okay, I need assets to finance, real estate or equipment. I really, I mean, Gary, I think you got some working lines of credit available, but how would we help somebody pull a chunk of money out so they can use it in any way that they want to? Get creative. Do you have real estate that we can use as an asset? No. Okay. How about equipment that your business owns free and clear or with a low balance? Because that's an asset that you can draw money from. And if the business does not own real estate, my next question is always, well, what about investment properties? Do you have any single families or duplexes that are not related to the business that we're talking about? And if they do, if those assets have a low balance or a zero balance, well, that's a creative way you can come up with working capital to spend it in any way that you need to. and in this case, spend it on advertising. That would be a sale leaseback. Equipment that's owned by the company, free and clear or with a low balance. You can sell that to a leasing company. They'll buy it, they'll give you cash. That equipment stays at your location, and you have use of it because you need to have use of it to repay the debt. So basically, you're refinancing something. And that's a great way to pull money out for working capital and advertising and marketing. Same with real estate. Okay. But the financial programs that we have available, real quick, are going to be equipment financing. We do that through equipment leasing because that's the best way to do it. The most advantages. Don't pay cash, keep your cash for opportunities and emergencies. And bank financing is more of a down payment and higher qualifications to get approved. So difficult credit, everything that we do, all the programs, if you got excellent credit, good to excellent credit, your cost of money is going to be less expensive. It's going to be all around better for you. But if you don't have it, you want to get it. And how do you get it? You finance something, make the payments on time, and then a year, 18 months down the road, your score's improved quite a bit. And next time you get business financing with us, then it'll be less expensive money. Okay. But equipment leasing gets you equipment, real estate financing for commercial and investment properties, raising capital for existing businesses with strong financials. If you're maxed out on debt at your bank and you can't borrow no more because all your assets are spoken for and they're maxed out with the loan to values, how do you get money? Our investment banker partners, they have debt investors. When you hear investors, you think equity only. Well, yeah, there's investors who invest equity and take equity. There are also investors available who will finance debt to you, not equity, debt. It's better to take on debt in most situations. I'm going to say 90% of situations than it is to take an equity investment and give away portions of your company, percentages. We got more than that, Gary. We got cash, we got factoring, we got purchase order financing. But
Right.
that would cover all right there.
All right. All right. Thanks for that share, Paul. What we're saying to you, audience, is that you may have a strong brand, all right, but if that brand hasn't passed through the know, like, and trust factor because you're not invested in public relation marketing, guess what? That brand can fall through the crack. So one of the things that you want to do when you want to cash flow optimize is to invest heavily in visibility. And Paul would have given you a few hacks. You can leverage the equity in your assets to acquire the capital that you need to move a process forward, to move your branding and marketing forward. And it's necessary. But I want to give a few more hacks to what Paul would have said. Now, if you're in the United States of America, you are in a country that has tremendous opportunities when it comes to the financial instruments. For example, you have companies that will give you net 30, 60, and 90. And let me say exactly what this means. It means that once you're able to develop relationship with those companies, and part of what we do with our company, we help you to build those relationships. You may have branding and organization that just simply deals with branding. And what they can do, they can give you either net 30, 60, or 90-day line of credit. What that means is that for 30, 60, or 90 days, you don't have to make any payment for that product. The possibility exists also that the same may apply when it comes to the placement of your commercial across mass media, social media, and the metaverse. These possibilities may exist, and our role is to help you to access. So guess what? You're leveraging $0 down, but you need to know what you're doing. You need to know that within 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, you will be able to cash flow your brand so as to offset that cost. And that's a lot to get into, because if you start in a business, you want to at least identify things like what is guarantee, who are guarantee buyers, and how to build relationship with guarantee buyers, so as to ensure that you're visible with them, they're buying into your product, you have guarantee cash flow coming in to help you offset the cost. And the reason I'm saying this, because if you don't offset this cost within the timeline, it becomes a late payment. A late payment over a long period of time becomes a derogatory. And the last thing that you want, as Paul would say, is derogatory on your report, because it's going to affect how the financial institution work with you to help you to access money. So there's a lot for us to go in here, but I'm just at least showing you that there are other concepts for you to look at in terms of raising the capital for advertising, for marketing. All right, there's some low hanging fruit. Along with this, you also have there's three tiers when we look at the lowest hanging fruits to access capital. There is vendor credit, there's store credit, and there's cash credit. You apply vendor and store credit well, it's going to open up tremendous opportunity for you to get cash credit. And as you start to get cash credit, it can be, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, or hundreds of thousands of dollars when you know what you're doing. Now, this also has some hacks to it, because it's different from some of the portfolios Paul would have just spoken about. Because with credit now, you may be able to negotiate for 0% APR. And 0% APR can run for about 6 months, it can run for a year, it can run for 24 months, which means that you have zero interest to pay on $100,000 or $200,000. But you need to know how to make that happen. Again, these are the type of support that we can help you with when you're struggling to bring visibility, struggling to raise the capital to invest in visibility for your business. So I'm going to pause here for now. And what I want to do throughout now is I want to come to Frank, and perhaps you can go back just a little bit to what you would have talked about. But at the end, I want you to talk to us about the importance of visibility. Why? Because so often we find that rising stars in business, you get into business, but then you push marketing on the side. It's capital intensive. I can do this by myself. And you find that, too late shall be the cry. How important is visibility from a leadership standpoint, Frank? You're mute.
Thank you. Thank you. Visibility is important. Visibility is not just being known in your community. We live in a world where everybody know. Once you get online, you have the social media that can make you visible. The Gen Z generation is doing this extremely well, and they're doing a great job of it. Um, I was talking to a young tailor, just 26 years old. As a matter of fact, this jacket I'm wearing is one that he made. Looks perfect, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But what he has been doing,
I'm going to charge for some advertising there, Frank.
what he has been, he has been doing is he has been able to leverage this business. And this is how I would have been able to see his work, because it's visible. It's visible online. A lot of designers in Ghana now has their work online. And though it's a competitive space, it's not a space for just the Guyana community, but the Caribbean and international world at large. And so for me, if you are a leader, and that's why I go back to asset-based leader, the benefits that you have when you are visible is that people will see how you're fostering a positive culture, how you're increasing engagement and retention, how you're promoting diversity and inclusion. how you encouraging collaboration, how you're improving on your problem solving skills. And with all that said, once you are visible, it means that you have the market at your feet. You're marketing yourself. You're putting yourself out there. People are realizing, no, this is what the asset, what is what the value I'm bringing to my business. How do you identify those assets? You conduct skills assessment. You look for hidden talents. You, again, encourage collaboration, provide feedback. And so in getting all of these things, once you are visible, once you are, and you utilize social media as much as possible, but once you're out there, then you stand a stronger chance of marketing your products, of getting sales, or of increasing your asset base. And for me, I think visibility for your business is crucial, very crucial.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. And you're perfectly correct. Without visibility, you're dead. All right, I want to simply put it that way. And if you're not visible, you're dead. Now, Shivani, I know you are a social guru. I listen to you all the time. You know, you're always in meeting. You're always meeting with people. Um, how important is networking and collaboration to the visibility process and helping businesses to break through that, visibility curve that is vital for the success of their business? All to you, Shivani. You're mute. You're mute.
The most important thing, I believe, always, you
Yeah.
need to become more visible, right? Networking will help you. Sometimes I go to a lot of different events online, and whether it's face to face, if it's in the country that I am, or wherever it is, and just stirring up conversations. So many different things can happen. So we talk about the art of getting things done, right? The art of getting things done. And how do you get things done is really through people, right? Through ideation with persons. And many, many, many times I'll hear this over and over. How do I get people? How do I find people? So you can go to a lot of networking events. You might say, well, I might be wasting my time. I'm not into that. That's not my thing. But just go, and you would be amazed at all of the connections that you can make. You do not have to go into an area that is your subject matter only, because a lot of times I have seen people say, okay, you are project management, you may just go to project management events. No, that's keeping yourself in one particular area too, right? And that I will never recommend that. So just go to any type of business event, we will call it. Look at anything online, and it helps you to become more visible and networking, as you said. But I wanted to go with that particular point on visibility with the word agility, right? How agile you need to be able to do something like this. And you all were saying it, Paul and yourself and Frank. You need to be able to capitalize on your business. And how do you capitalize? You have to remember that your business needs to be visible from beginning to end and continual. You don't want to have an end, you want to be able to continuous. And how do you do that? Is through projects. Projects make you very visible, but projects will help you to become more, practice better agility, to practice better agility. Because when you're looking at agility, you're looking at all the products of my business, all of the products of my business, and how I could probably pivot it, change it up a little bit. Because at the end of the day now, it is if you don't do this and change up, your business will die, as we were saying on Monday. You don't want it to die. So agility helps you to understand that things change. How do you scale up? How do I do it? How do I become more agile? What do I do? And visibility and networking are terms that goes hand in hand with agility. But we definitely want to understand you need to do things to stay alive, right? In your business. It's your business agility to continue it through the project management thinking to scale up as you go from cash flow onto cash flow, different aspects of your business. Yeah.
All right, thanks for that share, Shivani. So for the listening public, I really trust that you're taking away these gems. And one of the steps that you want to do to cash flow your business is network, 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 collaborate, 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 as Shivani is saying. Build the right relationships. And I believe it's definitely uh, a process that will really help you to cash flow your business. But you're making rebuilding relationship, people getting to know you, you're breaking through that know, like, and trust factor, and you're laying that foundation to win. All right, with that being said, we are now about to wrap up today's program. And I had fun. I trust you guys had fun like I did. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back to Paul. I know Frank had to run out to a meeting, so we're not gonna get his closing remarks. But I want to come to Paul, and again, access to capital is so important for the success of every business. So I would really love for you to at least walk us through some of the financial portfolio you have. Perhaps we can also talk a little bit about the BFC, because right now I know we're trying to attract 100 persons to be trained as business finance consultants. And your closing remarks from there. Paul, all to you.
Thank you, Gary. I don't know, maybe a good way to do it is give an example. Let's
Yeah.
say a business needs business is growing. You are I like to use construction companies. You hear me say it all the time, but you're a construction company. You have more customers than you can handle, and you're turning customers away. What does that mean? That means that you're throwing growth away because you need equipment to handle those other customers. Human resources, I like the way you like to say that. You need more employees, you need more dump trucks, more bobcats, more excavators. You need more to get, all the extra work that you have coming in accomplished. So how do you do that? And you've got difficult credit. That's the next scenario. You've been in business for 10 years, you're doing great. Something happened and you got difficult credit. That's a really good example that we can use. What do? You've been declined by your bank. So you've been banking at that place for your whole life. And in your head you think they turned me down. Everybody's going to turn me down. I'm done. That's not true. That is not true at all. There are lenders who want that style of business. They understand that America is not easy. I mean, things happen. So how would we handle that situation for you? Easy. We would put you at ease by telling you we've got lenders who specifically want to work with you. The credit score is not a problem. Uh, the next thing I might say to you might not put you at ease, but it's true, and it's the only facts that there are. You're going to need money down 15, 20%, maybe more. It's up to the lender. It's not up to me. I mean, but that's the bad news. But what's the good news? Well, you got a lot of business. So obviously you probably have the money. Don't be stingy. Put the money down, and that money down is going to put you in a position so that you have equipment to make payments on and make the payments on time. Everything gets repaired by making payments on time. Next time you need financing, you don't have to put a big chunk of money down. So that's an example of one of the finance programs that we have, equipment leasing. There's a lot of ways equipment leasing can be used. Sale leaseback. You need working capital. What do you own free and clear? Pledge it on a sale leaseback. You got that chunk of cash for what you need to use it for, as we discussed earlier, maybe advertising and marketing. Okay, that's a sale leaseback. We can do those for you. Uh, a simple lease that's the best way to get equipment. Excellent credit, no problem. Difficult credit, still no problem. Uh, I could keep going, Gary. I mean, on financing programs, but I'll be talking for the next 15 minutes, I promise. So there's financing and all these things, obviously the best of credit gets you the best, least lowest cost of money, but they can be accomplished with difficult credit, and then you can repair your difficult credit. And real quickly on the business finance consultant program, we want 100 people. We want to train you to be an expert in this field, a ninja. So there's not a question that you will be asked that you can't answer, but that's not going to happen right away. So don't worry about it. Play the new card. We will give you full training and support. You go out and get people in business who need financing for their businesses. Ideally, you can answer every question, but the facts are in every industry, at the beginning, nobody's an expert. So don't worry about it. The new card. Hey, I just started. I'm in training, but I know what these guys offer and it makes sense to me. Let's get on an appointment with Paul. Always bring me in on an appointment with you. I'm ready. I'm here to close the deal with you, for you, with you, because it's for all of us. And full training, full support, no experience needed. Let's be a business. New year, new career. Do you want to make a lot of money? I know the answer is yes on that one. And this is a way to do it. So we want to work with you.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. Just before coming to Shivani, I just want to add a little bit to what you would have said. Paul spoke about, some aspect of the pre-qualification criteria and credit. In the traditional sense, when you're going to the main, traditional financial institutions in the US, they at least need you to have a 680 and above FICO score. And in the absence of you having this 680 and above FICO score, they really don't want to do business with you. You're not going to get funding from them. What Paul has just explained is that even with 300 or 350 or 380 credit score, there are financial institutions that he can put you in contact with. All right, that's going to help you to access the capital to move your business forward. Because Paul, I mean, I'm happy that you would have said that, because ever so often you interface with a rising star in business. They have been beaten down so much because, starting a business, one of the mistakes that I see they do, Paul, they leverage their FICO score to access capital. What they should be, and they're doing that because they don't have a PAYDEX. What you want to do is to just use your FICO to give you a personal guarantee at the PAYDEX level until the business of itself develop the credibility that it cannot borrow on its own. And in business, you have late payments, so you're not able to reach your monthly debt obligation with with your creditors. And from the time you have, a few late payments, it hits your FICO. So there's a lot of education that we have to go through to really help persons to understand how to navigate that. So I've just add that bit to let people know that we understand what it takes to do business. We understand the challenges because we interface with you all the time. And I trust that the information that Paul would have shared was very helpful and useful. You don't have to wait until you have a 680 and above to start seeking capital. You can reach out to us right now, and we will be happy to work with you and put you in contact with the right financial institutions and help you get the right financial instrument for your business. Again, if you need also repair to help boost your FICO, we can do that. If you need to, well, not if you need to, if you're in business, you need to have a PAYDEX score, and we can help you get that PAYDEX score in a couple of days. So do reach out to us. All right, thanks again, Paul. I didn't get your closing remarks, though. I get your comment on the BFC and I get your comment on the capital. Can you just chime in a little bit on the importance of visibility? And then I'm going to come right back to Shivani. Shivani, I would love you to really dig in deep into the importance of project management and smart survival strategies for businesses. Paul.
I would like to make a long closing statement, but I don't think I can. I don't think I
A
can.
short one will do.
Yeah, I don't think
Go
I
ahead.
can make it better than what you said. Without visibility, you're dead.
You're
Simple.
dead.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Shabani. You meet Shabani.
So this conversation, we are speaking about how to obtain cash flow and how to continue with cash flow. Project management. Once you do, a deep dive, I like to say, just like a deep dive into project management, it could really, really assist us. Now, as we said in the previous point there about agility, we need to become we need to understand agility very, very well when we are talking about business, when we are talking about getting the capital and using the capital to probably move on to another aspect of the business as well, to grow and to scale up. We call it a scale up. So project management, thinking, mindset, whatever word you want to use, leadership, project management, agility helps you to really do these things. Now, what aspect of project management that I am seeing in this conversation as we have started from the beginning to now, which was not too long now, but that we have started, is the principles of agile management, agile project management. So in business, in order to sustain your business, agile project management is one of the best tools that I have seen over the years that could really help someone and guide you properly. So, in conversations to come, we'll do more into agile project management and how it could assist persons in growing in business and scaling up in business. You get the capital, then what, And there are different aspects. So, it's incremental to an adaptive and agile, all those great words. So, my closing remarks really, and I've said it at the beginning of the conversation, I'll say it at the end. Project management can assist you in business, can help you to become more solution oriented. But this aspect here has a lot to do with the agile project management for you to survive and not survive, to be able to change, to adapt, to look at the products that you have and probably say, this thing not working, let me get something else. And not because my company will die, right? A lot of times people just stick to the same thing over and over and trying the same way over and over, and it's not working. It's not working at all. So your company will die, right? Your company will die. So we need to look at different ways to do it. We mentioned something from I think it was on Monday, the red ocean strategy, and you start to think about the blue ocean strategy now. All of this is really fitting into the concept of agility and agile project management, which can help you in business to make sure when you get the money from Paul, you are able to grow it more, because getting the money from one aspect, it will be used out. You have to look at your product, look at your value, look at growth. Yeah.
Great share. So there you had it, audience. You learned today about so many things, but what you've just learned about is agile project management as a smart way to manage your business portfolios. So in the event that you need to know more about agile project management, I encourage you to reach out to us. We can definitely, put you in contact with Shivani and ensure that you get the support that you need for your business. Frank, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Just finished.
All right. Well, your closing remarks now. We are now about to wrap up. Um, your closing remarks.
Thank you.
Frank came
Um,
in at the correct time.
yes, yes. This is my organization. Always with a busy or emergency meeting. One of the things I want to leave is that we need to embrace asset-based leadership for long-term success. We know that leadership is a crucial element in the success of any organization, but asset-based leadership focuses on strengths and positive qualities of the individual as well as the organization. And this approach is based on the belief that by identifying and leveraging the strengths of individuals and organizations, leaders can create a more positive and effective work environment. So, one, we need to foster a positive work environment. We need to encourage innovation and creativity. We need to improve employee engagement and retention. enhance organizational performance, build the trust and collaboration, look at best options for long-term success. By embracing asset-based leadership, we need to focus on strengths of individuals and organizations and realize that as a leader, you can create a positive work environment that fosters all the things I've said: innovation, creativity, and collaboration. And I'm quite sure that once you go with this approach, you will have employee engagement and retention. You will have better or enhanced organizational performance. Trust will be built. You'll have collaboration among team members. And all the leaders who embrace asset based leadership are more
Mm.
likely to create a work environment that is more fulfilling, that is more productive and successful.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. Well, to the audience, I really trust that you enjoyed today's program as much as I did. I really enjoyed today's program, and I trust that you took away a lot from the information that was shared today. We looked at 4 steps to cash flow your business. The first concept that we talk about is that you must have value that people value. That means you must have assets. The second part, we talk about you must be value that people value, and that ties very uniquely into what Frank is saying, asset-based leadership. The third aspect that we looked at is that you must be able to bring attention to what you're doing. If you're not able to bring attention to what you're doing, you're going to fail. Although you have value that people value, and although you are value that people value, but nobody knows. You're the greatest, you're the biggest secret the world has ever known. You're a secret. And the last point here is that in doing what you're doing, you want to have clear targeted performance outcome, TOPAC. What do I mean by that? You must clearly identify how you want to impact your team. And that's what some of what Frank is talking about, because it's going to take a team to move a big vision forward. You want to impact your target market. All right. It's going to take knowledge of your market to impact your target market. That should be one of your targeted outcome. You want to also impact the public, because in the public you have influencers, you have community leaders that can sway consumers, response towards your products and services, and you want them to sway them not away from you but towards you. That's a deep subject matter for us to get into at some other time. The last part, you need to understand how to manage your money, how to impact your money. What's financial targeted performance that you have for yourself? I didn't get into all of that today, but I want to show you that when you come into our master classes, there's so much of information that we're going to give to you to ensure that you win in business and you win in life. So with that being said, I want to thank our viewers from across the world who are viewing this program, and we look forward for you to be with us tomorrow again. Remember, always share this with your friend, like, subscribe, and share, so you will be the first to get these content that we are bringing to you on a regular basis. Have a great Wednesday, and see you guys tomorrow.